Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
So over the course of the 72 holes that you played, you only had 2 bogeys the whole time. So obviously you're playing pretty smart golf. Your tee to green was incredible. And then you were able to capitalize on an eagle in the final round. What is it like at a tournament like this where you're playing 3 rounds of 24 holes? Is there more of an exhaustion factor into it? Like, how do you keep up with that playing a longer course? And obviously wait time at these kind of tournaments is longer as well.
Yeah, I grew up playing DeLa, so I'm very comfortable on that course. I know I hadn't been there since 2017, but I know exactly what I want to do on each hole and where I want to, avoid. And it's funny, the 2 bogeys I took were both off of birdie putts. I ran a birdie putt on the original hole 2, and then I had a birdie putt hit and roll away to a 40-footer, missed that one. So that was my main focus was play aggressive but safe off the tee and just try to rack up birdies and avoid the bogeys. But 3 rounds, 1 round a day, it's not too taxing. There's some hills and stuff at DeLa, but it's just it's just part of the tournament experience. The weights are tough, but it just comes with the professional tournaments. I mean, you have backups everywhere you go.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the course, not during your interview, unless you have something you want to share. Generally, I guess I heard that there were some changes to some of the holes out there from how they normally play. Did you feel like, and had you played them before, did you feel like they were good changes, or were you kind of disappointed?
They definitely added a different vibe. I hadn't played them before. I flew down Thursday night and just played Friday morning. So I did, as far as scoring separation, the change on original 11 did add that kind of eagle piece, even though it's kind of a par 3.5. I mean, it's just, a really tricky shot and you got to bang an uphill putt. But I do like the original position on that better. I think it's a better hole, that dead straight spot. I did like the change on I-5. I felt like you had to execute 2 shots instead of 1 shot and a jump putt. I thought that was a good change. And then the hole after I-5, I like the basket over there, but I think it was a little too short. I think the par 3 position is fine. It didn't provide a lot of scoring separation, but I don't think this new pin did either. I like the idea of a par 4 and a dog leg out to the left. Maybe if they made the Mando so you can't go over the top, force people through the middle, that might change a little bit. But yeah, obviously you're not going to have scoring separation on every hole. And DeLa's, they basically took, those really hard to get par 3s where you really felt good about a 2 and you were fine with a 3, and then they kind of made them mandatory birdie holes. So it felt like it was playing a couple strokes easier than previous tournaments. And it's fun having the par 4s. I actually did see there was a couple eagles on the old hole 11. I was able to pick up one in the last round, and then Dustin Keegan in the second round. The one after I-5, executing it perfectly. So it does add some excitement. I see what they're trying to do. And DeLa is still DeLa. It's going to play the same no matter what. So I think the changes were fine.
Yeah, it definitely seems, kind of as an outsider looking in at like UDisc live scoring and everything like that, it did seem like kind of like birdie to bogey percentage wise, it did seem like it was playing a little bit easier this year, but that's also coming with the fact that players are getting better. Players are learning the courses year in and year out, going back to this event. That's obviously going to be something that helps them out. But going to the last round, you made an incredible push to take that, potential playoff for first place or to even get for first place outright. What was the pressure like going into that last round? And then how'd you feel, let's say 12 holes into it, halfway through the round?
Yeah, going into the last round, I was in a big tie for third, and my main goal was to try to take third by myself. But I really wasn't competing against anyone else. I just, I wanted to go out there and put a good round together. I wasn't very happy with my first round. And then second round, I believe I shot 10 or 11, and it felt good, but I knew there was a hot round out there. I knew I could get a couple more birdies and try to avoid the bogeys. So I was really just trying to go out there and take it 1 hole at a time, play the course, and, just see where the scores stacked up at the end. And I really wasn't watching any of the scoring. I had no idea until we were sitting on a backup on I-5 and people were talking about the scores, and I saw I had 3 strokes on third place. And that made me happy. And so I still wasn't concerned about what Adam and Kevin were doing. I kind of just wanted to solidify that third place. So I told myself, get the par 4s, finish strong, and just see where they lined up. And then with 4 holes to go, I had a death putt, and I was totally fine laying it up. And then I thought, you know what, I better check the scores. So I turned around, I said, do I need to make this? And Sean Mercy, who was keeping our U disc, said, yeah, you need to run it. And I looked at the score, and I believe I was 30 and Adam was 31, but he still had a couple easy birdies. So, I was like, okay, you're here now. You might as well just see what you can do. So I ran it, didn't make the putt, but I stayed there, tapped in for par, and then just told myself, it doesn't matter what anyone else does, just get all the birdies you can and go from there. So,
wow.
It was fun though. I'll tell you what, that was probably one of the more fun rounds I've played, just because every stroke mattered and it was exciting. And
wow.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, so you're telling me that missed putt, that outside circle putt there could have tied you up.
Yeah. He did have, I believe he was 2 holes back. So who knows where that would have stacked up. But every stroke just puts more pressure on him. So, I watched his round on Jomez earlier this morning, and we kind of talked a little bit after the round, and he totally clutched up and made some sweet putts down the stretch. But yeah, who knows, if I get to 33 and he's got to go birdie to finish, it's just, you never know how it's going to play out. So.
Yeah. I'm looking here at some of your stats here, and I think this is round 3. You made a couple nice 38 footers, which is in a 49 footer, going hole 8, 38 footer, hole 10, 49, hole 12, 38. So there, and then hole 14, 49. That's a stretch of like 6 holes where you made like 4 circle 2 putts, significant ones.
Yeah, it was, that was the weak part of my game. The first 2 rounds, I was kind of making most of my inside the circle, but I wasn't connecting outside. So before round 3, I spent a couple extra minutes putting that 40 to 50 range just to kind of get comfortable. That way, if I did have to run some of those putts, I would feel more confident. It's hard at DeLa, you can't, it's not flat ground and green grass where you have no worries when you're running a 45 footer. If you miss, there's a good chance you're going to take a bogey or have to hit some crazy comeback putt. So, I felt good. My game was feeling good. I did miss, like, I believe 2 inside the circle putts during that stretch too. So, I was, my only goal was to try to give myself birdie looks and then knock them down. So, it was, I was feeling good.
Yeah, you missed, not to pour salt on any wounds, but you brought it up. You missed 3 circle 2 putts going into the final 5 holes. So, but for what it's worth, you mentioned that was your struggle, and then you did have that nice burst there where you got 4. You only got 7 circle 2 putts the whole tournament. And so what you're saying is accurate. You're saying that was your struggle, but then you hit 4 solid ones there in the final round. That seems to be what gave you that edge on the hot round. Is that how you feel the putting was the difference?
Honestly, yeah, I think it helped keep it going. Driving was definitely the difference for me. I believe original hole 4 was the only time I was really scrambling to save par, and I was able to hit a nice outside the circle putt. But every other hole, I was either putting for birdie or I was just, easy pitch up for par. The tricky thing about DeLa is if you're 40 or 50 feet, half the time you're laying up because you're not going to want to run the putt. And the other half, you might not have a look. You might be behind a bush or a tree in your way or whatever. So those circle 2 putts, it's not going to be the same for everyone. But, I did not run probably more than half of my circle 2 putts. I was just happy to lay up and take a par.
I'm curious that, like, looking at the stats now, you see like Adam hit 10 for 30 of the circle 2. Like, how many of those were actually just, he laid up under the basket? Because like you're saying, you could be 50 feet out. We don't know that when you're looking at UDisc Live, but he might have absolutely no look at it. So you lay it up, and that does count against your circle 2 percentage, which sucks, but it is what it is. And so
Yeah, I would say at least 10 of those he probably laid up.
probably,
Because,
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's a big difference. That's a big
yeah, I
difference.
bet more than half of those baskets there's danger behind, or it's
Mhm.
on a big slope. So, and the thing about DeLa is if you're playing good, like Adam and I were, you're fine taking pars. You just
Mhm.
get the birdies when they come, and take pars when they don't, and you're gonna shoot under par. You're gonna shoot a hot round. So, there. I I mean, at down the stretch, he felt a little need to press, but the front 12 of that round, if he's 55 feet away, he's fine laying up for par, as was I. So
Mhm.
Mm.
it does do the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, and
So
it's real quick. I think it was Steve
Yep.
Dodge texted me earlier this week, and we were talking about stats. I said, "Hey, who came up with circle 1, circle 2?" I was like, "Was that you, Steve Dodge?" He's like, "I think that was Udisk, Matt, Josh, and Steve. I think collectively they came up with the need for that." But what's interesting is, and he mentioned this, and it came up tonight on this show with you, James. Like we have to track stats that are actually not putt attempts. Like if
Yeah.
someone's laying up from circle 2, was it an attempt? No. So like that'd be neat to see. That'd be a cool little stat to add in there. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was thinking about that too earlier because I was curious and I went on UDisc to see where I stacked up, and I saw that and I was thinking, well, how many of those putts did I not even putt?
Yeah,
Right.
So
yeah, yeah. It's funny. I've actually never thought of it like that until right now, as we're having the conversation about it.
Yeah.
And it makes you think
yeah.
because it's like even circle one percentages. Like I haven't been able to watch the full last round, but let's say Adam on hole 24, if he was able to just lay up a putt from 25 feet, it does count against his circle one percentage. But I guess at that point, when you're laying up for the win, it really doesn't matter. But
yeah.
so you have a second place, you have your highest finish ever at an Elite Series event. Um, are you playing more Elite Series events throughout the year? And I guess what are your goals in disc golf as you're a full-time teacher, but then you're able to play at a high level?
Yeah, I'm playing the two Portland tournaments coming up, and then the World Championships, and then hopefully a couple of the pro tournaments this summer. I know I'm going to Ledgestone and Idlewild. So, for me, I know that I'm capable of playing at that level. I was not happy with my 15th place at OTB a couple weeks ago. I think it was just a confidence booster for me to show myself that I can do it because I know I'm capable of it, and I've done it before. But it's just I think it helped give me that confidence to do it again.
Mhm.
And I don't have I'm not totally sure what my disc golf goals are at the moment. It Especially for like the next 2 weekends because I won't get a chance to practice the course. I'll be playing Portland Open blind.
Mhm.
So, I'm not going to go there and expect to get top 5 when I'm trying to learn the course the first round. I'm just going to try to play a little bit safer. And then, rounds 2, round 3, maybe try to get a little more aggressive
Mhm.
and shoot hot. But yeah, for now, I'm enjoying teaching. I'm enjoying playing when I can, and just trying to do my best to compete at that highest level. I'd love to get a win. I know I'm capable of it. I just, especially courses where I'm already comfortable. I feel
Mhm.
great about Masters Cup. If Beaver State were happening this year, that's another course where I've played it a handful of
Yep.
times, so I feel comfortable there. So yeah, for me, it's just at this point, I'm just finding that balance between loving what I do for work and then also doing what I can to compete at the highest level in disc golf as well.